I'm Madeline Cohen, and I'll be presenting on something that's a bit closer to home. My team was part of the Capstone Workshop, and we worked with Partnerships for Parks. A little bit about us. I worked with two other students, the beautiful Kate Burrows, who is a junior and major in sustainable development, and Alana Schwartz, senior and concentrator in sustainable development. As I said, I'm Maddie Cohen. I'm a junior and also a concentrator in sustainable development. A little bit about who we worked with. Our client was Partnerships for Parks. It's a part city government, part nonprofit organization. It is part of the City Parks Foundation, which is a nonprofit, but it's also part of the City of New York Parks and Recreation Department. So it's sort of in this middle ground territory. This is part of their mission statement. Basically, they want to work to help support New Yorkers who want to make neighborhood parks thrive. And what that means is they work with thousands of different community groups and individuals who want to use, improve, and beautify New York City parks. There's a little bit more detail about what they're actually trying to do, because what they can do is actually help improve a group's function, strengthen their group, improve leadership ability, help them network with other groups or with government officials to do more of what they want to do, and also access resources and funding. So they can offer a lot, but as of right now, or when they presented to us, they don't know how effective they are at what they can offer. So with all these different programs and resources that they give to these groups, they don't have any sort of return of, yes, this works, or no, this doesn't, or I'm not improved. And so what they asked of the Capstone Workshop group was some sort of analysis tool that could help them see if what they were doing was effective. What my team did is we actually built off of the fall 2011 Capstone Workshop, which decided a survey would be the best way to kind of get some sort of information back. And so we built off of that draft of a survey. So what we tried to do for the semester was take the survey as it was given to us and address why it was not ready to be implemented then, which involved a lot of drafting and redrafting and intense communication with Partnerships for Parks. And we then moved forward into some preliminary analysis. We actually sent this survey out and began a pilot. And we are finalizing by giving some sort of plan for the future. So what we are leaving Partnerships for Parks with is not only the survey and some information, but also what they can do with it right now, what they can do with it, and how they can alter it to use it in 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years. What we did, we made some major changes to this survey. One of the biggest things we did is we wanted to increase the rate of response. So the survey as it was about 4 pages, and it required a lot of sifting through information. Maybe a group representative who would receive the survey might have to actually call around, look up things, and we figured that actually might lead to a pretty low response rate. Someone says, I don't know the answer to this, I'm not going to do it right now. So we reduced from 4 pages to about 1 page, and we actually changed the entire format to binary. So you either could say yes, no, or I don't know. What that did is that made it pretty easy for us in doing a lot of literature review and actually talking to similar organizations who also would want feedback to see how we could break it down into actually just inputs and outputs. And so we've listed up here the 5 main programs and resources that PFP, Partnerships for Parks, offers to all these different groups. Capacity Fund Grant, which is funding, Partnerships Academy, which involves improving that leadership ability and intra-group workings. The Outreach and Catalyst Program, which is actually, there are Partnership for Parks employees in all 5 boroughs, and this allows sort of a one-on-one interaction with these groups. It's My Park Day, which is an annual event actually celebrating New York City parks, and the Volunteer Recognition Event, which is for these groups but also provides intergroup networking opportunities. So we felt that after talking with PFB, these are the main, the big categories of what they can offer to all these different New York City groups. And what they hope to see are some of these outputs. These are 5 main categories of if you did 1 or more of these inputs, we would hope to see some sort of change or improvement in one of those 5 outputs. Group development, resources, events and programming, outreach communications, and networking. So what we did is we designed a survey where you could immediately say, this is who I am. I participated in 1 or more of those inputs, And then you could answer questions in these 5 categories, and we could begin to see a correlation, if there is one, between, oh, you did, for instance, capacity fund grant, and we also see a change in how you are accessing resources. So here are some of our sample questions. We have more than that, but this just gives you an idea of what we were sort of looking for. For instance, with the group development section, and all of these sections actually are prefaced by, since working with Partnerships for Parks. You can see, for instance, with group development, has your group developed a mission statement? Since working with Partnerships for Parks. That sort of is indirectly correlated actually to the Partnerships Academy, where after going through these different classes, you might actually have a more focused and established mission statement for your group, and so on and so forth. So we drafted and redrafted and changed the language and tried to make it ultimately as accessible and easy to use as possible, which meant putting it in an online format. So we used the Google survey tool that's part of Google Docs, and this is what it actually looks like. So it's you can see the first category as it begins with basic information, and then it goes on to actually ask which of those inputs, those programs or resources you used, and then it goes into those 5 categories of outputs. So it's nice and easy to use. So before we actually sent that out to this sample size of all those thousands of groups, we took an intermediary step of actually getting in touch with a select few community group leaders. These are representatives of groups that Partnerships for Parks works with, but they're really familiar with Partnerships for Parks. They've worked intensely either with specific employees or just have a good understanding of what Partnerships for Parks is and does. And why we had this sort of middle pilot step is that we actually wanted someone who really knew what PFP is about to be able to say, oh, I understand, and this is easy, and I don't like this, and I do like this. We basically asked for the feedback at every step of the survey, whether or not they liked it. And we incorporated a lot of their suggestions and modifications for a final draft. Since then, we've actually performed a randomized selection of those thousands of groups that PFP works with to create a sample size that we're actually in the process of sending out this survey to have a pilot be up and running as the semester finishes out. We're actually doing that next day or so. But with those community group leaders, we already do have some immediate analysis beyond getting their feedback on what was good and what was bad about the survey. We also got their answers to the survey. So we actually have set up an Excel spreadsheet that will start filtering out for this specific input, you get these specific outputs. But the Google survey doc also offers some basic analysis. So this is sort of just to give you the beginnings of what we are giving to Partnerships for Parks. This is the 5th category output, networking. And I don't know if that's easy enough to read, but the question was, has your group increased its collaborations with other organizations? A question to understand if PFP has had any sort of influence on the intergroup networking, something that might result from their volunteer recognition event, for instance. And you can start to see that groups will answer either yes or no, and you can begin to attribute and find correlations. So we are about to hand this pilot actually off to PFP. It's pretty low maintenance, so once it gets going, they're just going to allow the data to come in, and it's going to filter into the analysis tools that we've set up within the Excel spreadsheet. The other thing that we're actually giving them is sort of a step-by-step plan for the future of once the pilot is closed, where they should go, what they could do immediately with this information, and how they can alter the survey to make it something that a group could get every year or every few years to sort of establish beyond this baseline of information what we're giving them an endless sort of set of data. Thank you.